Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something completely wild. We're going to explore the terrifying depths of human greed through this really chilling folktale, and then we're going to contrast that with the literal, awe-inspiring, and totally invisible depths of our cosmic reality. Seriously, we're going way, way below the surface, and then unimaginably far above it. Let's get into it. So ask yourself, do you know how deep the mysteries hidden below our feet and above our heads really are? I mean, most of us just walk straight ahead, right? We're just living our day-to-day lives completely unaware of the massive, literally world-bending forces operating right in the shadows. To even wrap our heads around the sheer scale of the unknown, we're going to start with a story about a guy who decided to look down into the darkness.
Section 1. Andaku, a deal with unseen forces. Okay, so our story follows a guy named Mithun. Desperate for a quick shortcut to wealth, he actually tracked down a dark, ancient ritual and, of all places, a local jail newspaper. Now, this wasn't just your standard, simple prayer. Over the course of 5 terrifying nights, Mithun descended into the pitch black of a dry, abandoned well. He brought some very specific items with him: black earth, iron nails, ash, and lemons. By the 3rd night, he started hearing this heavy, demonic breath echoing inside that confined space. But you know, Mithun's greed just totally overpowered his fear. Finally, on the 5th night, sitting there in absolute pitch blackness, no flashlight, no lamp, nothing, he chanted the final ancient mantra. And suddenly, the ground turned freezing cold.
From the absolute depths of the well, this voice just echoed out, "Ask." Mithun didn't even hesitate. I mean, his voice cracked a bit, sure, but his arrogance, totally unwavering. He flat out demanded money, absolute power, and an easy life. But here's the thing, this entity didn't grant a blessing, it accepted a transaction. And in this kind of dark economy, when something is asked for, well, something must eventually be taken in return.
Section 2. The horrifying consequence, the price of greed.
At first, Mithun's life absolutely skyrocketed. We're talking winning lotteries, closing massive real estate deals, building this huge palatial mansion. But as we know, unseen forces always come to collect. And man, this transaction turned sour incredibly fast. Within just a matter of days, his deals began to completely collapse, and he is forced to pay out massive penalties from his own pocket. Give it a few weeks, his gambling luck just vanished. The money dried up, and he literally had to sell off his prized new car just to afford food. Fast forward a few months, and Mithun is plagued by these absolutely terrifying nightmares of choking in a dark, damp cave, feeling this crushing weight on his chest. Completely broken and terrified, he runs to his old friend Rajan, who eventually brings him to a spiritual expert, Tantric Baba Gorakhnath.
So here is the absolute crucial point, and it's exactly what Tantric Gorakhnath revealed to him. That newspaper article Mithun read, it was incomplete. Mithun had successfully awakened a wildly powerful demonic entity, sure, but he completely failed to feed it. He had completely missed the required blood sacrifice on the night of Amavasya, the new moon. Desperate, Mithun rushed back to that well on the very next new moon to try and offer a sacrifice, but it was just too late. The entity was starving. Black hands literally erupted from the cracked earth, and the ground swallowed Mithun whole in a single silent jerk. The darkness had finally claimed its price.
Now this actually brings us to a really brilliant transition for today's explainer. Think of it like this. On one hand, we have the fictional darkness of Mithun's underworld. It's a classic cautionary tale of unseen terrors lurking below. But on the other hand, we have our actual reality. Because while demonic wells might be pure fiction, incredibly powerful, utterly invisible forces absolutely exist right now. The catch? To find them, we don't look down into some creepy old well, we look up into outer space. And when we do, we realize we've actually been looking at it all wrong this whole time.
Section 3. Space, not just flat. Breaking the 2D illusion.
Think back to when we were taught about the solar system in school. We're almost always shown this neat, flat, 2-dimensional diagram where all the planets are perfectly lined up in a row. Well, reality is incredibly chaotic, wildly 3-dimensional, and honestly, far more fascinating. To even figure out what's above and below us out there, astronomers use a baseline, and it's called the ecliptic plane. You can think of it like an imaginary flat sheet of glass extending straight out from the sun's equator. And yeah, most major planets do stay relatively close to this sheet. Mars tilts just about 2 degrees off this plane, Mercury's tilted about 7 degrees, but the further out we move, the more those rules just completely break down.
Just consider this staggering number for a second. 162.3 degrees. That is the orbital inclination of Halley's Comet. It doesn't orbit flatly alongside the Earth at all. No, It comes diving in from way, way above the solar system, entirely off that standard plane, and get this, orbiting in the exact opposite direction of most of the planets. It just goes to show that our solar system is this deeply complex, three-dimensional space packed with objects plunging in from above and below all the time.
And as we zoom out further, that chaotic nature above and below our little flat plane just explodes. Past Neptune, we hit the Kuiper Belt and the scattered disk. This is where dwarf planets like Pluto and Eris orbit at massive tilts, anywhere from 17 to over 45 degrees. But wait, beyond that, that's where we find the Oort cloud. And this is not some flat ring. It is a massive spherical shell that completely encases our entire solar system. It's filled with trillions of unseen icy bodies, extending a mind-blowing 3.2 light-years in every single direction. Literally trillions of objects just hiding right there above our heads and below our feet.
Section 4. Unseen Mysteries of the Universe, Cosmic Bubbles, and Solar Winds. But hey, the mysteries definitely don't stop at the edge of our solar system. As our entire sun hurtles around the center of the Milky Way galaxy, which, by the way, is a journey that takes 230 million years to complete just one time, it passes through these massive, invisible structures that dictate the whole environment of deep space. First off, our sun blasts out solar winds that create the heliosphere, which is basically this giant protective magnetic bubble shielding us from interstellar radiation. But right now, as we speak, our whole solar system is also traveling through something called the local bubble. This is a massive cavity, 1,000 light-years wide, filled with million-degree hot plasma left over from ancient supernovas. And if you really want to talk about above and below, in 2010, NASA discovered the Fermi bubbles. These are two gigantic, highly energetic balloons of gamma-ray radiation extending a staggering 25,000 light-years directly above and directly below the center of our Milky Way. It's just wild.
Section 5. Dark Matter, the universe's framework.
Okay, so here's the real kicker. Everything we have talked about so far today, the planets, the comets, those giant plasma bubbles, you, me, all of it is made of normal matter. But shockingly, that makes up just 15% of the universe. A staggering 85% of all matter in the universe is dark matter. It's this profound cosmic presence that is actually remarkably similar to the unseen entity in our folktale. I mean, it's completely invisible, it's utterly powerful, and it is silently pulling the strings of everything around us right from the shadows. It doesn't emit light, it doesn't reflect light, and we can't even directly see it.
So what exactly is it? Well, scientists believe dark matter basically acts as an immense, invisible skeleton for the whole cosmos. It literally shapes galaxies. Without its immense gravitational grip, the incredibly fast-spinning Milky Way would just tear itself apart and scatter its stars into the void. And strains of this dark matter extend far, far above and below the galactic plane. So as you sit here listening to this explainer, this invisible force is literally passing right through our solar system, right through your room, and crazy enough, right through you. We started off today with a fictional story about a man who unlocked terrors hidden in an ancient well, and we ended by realizing that our actual real-life universe is filled with colossal, invisible forces stretching across trillions of miles, holding the very fabric of our reality together. It really makes you pause, doesn't it? As we continue to hurl through space, completely surrounded by the unseen, what other secrets are hidden right around us, just waiting to be discovered? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember, keep your curiosity hungry.